There are several ways that I can assess children in the classroom. First of all, in class discussions, I hear what students are thinking, but only if I ask them to explain their reasoning. So it's important to me that I have whole class discussions where children are asked to explain their reasoning, and then I learn about what they're thinking about.
What can you tell me about the chart? What are you noticing?
Most of the even numbers are more possible.
Give me an example. What do you mean by that?
Like 2 and 4 and 6 look like they've got a lot.
Not all children are comfortable talking in all sessions, so it's not enough for me just to have whole class discussions. I rely heavily on children writing about their thoughts, even after a whole class discussion, where some children have had the chance to verbalize their thoughts and others have just been able to listen. Then if students get a chance to put down their own thoughts in writing, it reveals to me what their thinking processes are.
I count it by 2s and 10s. Yeah, 4 right there. 8.
Also, when children are working in small groups, just by observing, not interrupting, not even interacting, but listening to the children, I learn a great deal about what different children understand.
So you put the 10 in. Are you done? Okay. And you can get a dime. Okay?
And finally, I wish I had time as a classroom teacher to be able to sit and talk with each child individually. I know that's not possible in the regular classroom setting. But even when I do interviews, individual interviews with a few children, the very process of questioning those children strengthens my ability to talk with children in a whole class setting when many things are going on. In this tape, you will see 5 individual assessments with students from a combination class of 2nd and 3rd graders. The assessments focus on their understanding of number. The range of knowledge shown by the children represents the typical span in any class.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those
Do
are
I-
the ones left over.
Do I draw a circle around those?
No. Look, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 10s, and you like put a 4 right there, and you put 4, and then you have 9 stars left over, and then you put 9 right there. 49.
Okay, so does everyone...
Children's understanding is often fragile. What they know in one setting doesn't always transfer to another. Put the tiles so that you have groups of 10. And would you count out loud so I can hear what you're doing?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
And don't worry about them falling over. I just
6,
need a pile there.
7, 8, 9, 10.
You have enough to make another pile of 10? Let's see.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So how many groups of 10 do you have?
2,
And how many extra tiles do you have?
4.
Do you know how many tiles you have altogether? How would you find out?
Count.
And how would you count them?
Like 1, 2, 3.
Well, let me see you do that. Let's figure this out.
1, 2, 3.
After grouping the tiles into 10s, Sina wasn't able to use this information to determine the number of tiles. She needed to count, and chose to do so one by one.
20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
What a careful counter. Do you know how to write the number 24? Would you do that for me with this pen on the paper?
In the middle?
Yeah. Make them big. That's great. Now, suppose I said that I didn't want 24 tiles anymore. I wanted only 16 tiles. Could you take some tiles away so you're only left with 16? How would you solve that problem?
By counting 6 back.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Can you put those out away? And how many do you think are left now?
11.
You want to count and check?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
So you've got 18. Let's leave all these 18 in a pile. And you wrote the number 24 so well. Do you know how to write 18?
Mm-hmm.
I settled for 18 tiles rather than the 16 I had asked for. Either number would allow me to further assess Sina's understanding. I agree, that's how you write 18. Sina, can you tell me can you show me with the tiles what 8 means?
8.
You put them right up here next to the 8. I'm interested in Sina's interpretation of the digits in the numeral. Children often write numerals correctly, yet have no concept of place value. So I just want to see just the 8. Count them again out loud.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
8. So this is just 8 tiles. When you wrote the number 18, you wrote a 1 and an 8. Can you show me what the 1 means? And when you counted 18, there were all these tiles together. So if this is the 8 and this is the 1, where do those fit?
Over there.
Good, over there. Okay. So now we have, how many tiles do you think we have here?
9.
Oh, 9. So if you put 8 here and 1 here, you don't have any 18 anymore. You just have 9. You just have 9. Suppose I asked you to put 4 more tiles there. You had 9, and now you have 4 more. Do you know how many you have altogether? Can you figure that out in your head?
If we have 9, then we plus 4 more, then we have
How are you trying to figure that out?
maybe
And what are you doing in your brain?
counting.
Yeah, can I do it out loud so I can hear?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
13. And if I said to you like I did when we first started, can you make a pile of 10? Do you have enough there to make a group of 10? Don't know. How would you find out? Do you think you do or do you think you don't?
Do.
You do. Do you think you'll have any extras?
Mm,
You know how many extras you'd have?
uh,
How many do we have here altogether?
13.
13. So if you took 10 away and made a group of 10, how many extras do you think you'd have?
Mm, 1.
Want to try it and see?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And how many extras did you have?
3.
3. Can you write the number 13? So I look at the number, I see a clue there that tells me you'd have 3 extras. Do you see a clue there that would tell you have 3 extras? What's the clue that you see? And what do you think that 1 means? That's the 3 extras. What do you think the 1
You
means?
can.
Partial understanding is natural to the learning process. Sina needs a great deal more experience to connect what she does understand to the symbols.
Wow, I have a tired arm from drawing all those stars.
Counting large numbers of objects helps children learn about our place value system. Jonathan responds confidently when Carol asks how to count the stars.
What shall we do?
Count by tens.
Okay, and how will we do that?
Just circle 10 and then say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60.
Jonathan, I'm going to ask you some questions that are going to help me understand what you know about math. So what I'd like you to do first is take this cup of tiles and just spread them out on the table in front of you. And then what I'd like you to do is arrange them so they're into groups of 10. And I'd like you to count out loud so I can hear what's going on in your head.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You don't have to worry about them. You don't have to worry.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That's great. And you have enough to make another group of 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And so you have 2 groups of 10. How many extra tiles do you have?
4.
4. Do you know how many tiles there are altogether?
I'll count them.
What were you starting to do there, though?
Here.
You can do it out loud so I can hear.
10, 20. 21, 22, 23, 24.
24. Can you write that number 24 kind of big on the paper for me?
20?
24. So you wrote the 4 first, but you knew the 2 were there. Let me say, you have 24 tiles here. Suppose I said to you, I only want you to have 16. How many tiles, how could you solve the problem of taking some tiles away so you only have 16 left? And I want the extra ones put back in the cup. How are you going to do this? So I just want 16 tiles out here.
16 tiles?
Great. Can you write that under the 24 just as big as you wrote the 24?
16?
16.
1, 6, 4, 6.
Well, 16, what do you think? What's going on in your head? Tell me, because I need to. What'd you write? 16, yeah, that's right. And you wrote a 1 and a 6. Can you show me with the tiles what the 6 means when you write the 6 in the number like this? You can use those tiles, because there are your 16 tiles that we have all together. And this is the number for 16. So what is the 6? Show me with the tiles what the 6 means.
6 means...
You use these tiles here.
Okay. Okay, what do you mean?
Well, I'm interested as to how you knew to write a 1 and a 6 to mean 16. So I thought maybe you'd start by telling me what does the 6 mean, and what does the 1 mean, and how to come together that means 16.
Well, sometimes in my reason, in like the star thingy, my reason is you put it in tens, and then you count tens, and then there's some left over. So, like the right side of the thing means the ones that are left over, and the other side means how many tens.
Let's try it and see. So how many left over there?
Left over here.
No, left over in the number on the right side. If you put this into tens, and do you have any leftovers with the 16?
Probably.
What do you think? How many leftovers do you think you'd have?
Well, maybe 3 or around there.
Try it and see.
10.
And how many leftovers?
6.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought when you said those over there, you meant that number over there. See that number over there, 6? That's how I knew there were going to be 6 leftovers. I thought about that. But here's another question I want to ask you. We've got how many tiles here?
I got 16.
Okay, suppose I gave you 5 more. Before I give them to you to count, if I put 5 more down there, how many do you think you'll have altogether?
21.
I agree. Got 21. Would you write the number 21 underneath the 16? And Jonathan, I don't want you to do this now, but if I asked you to put those in tens like you did before, do you know how many tens you'd have? Helps to count it, doesn't it? Yeah, you can do it. Can you make a guess before you count? Then I'll let you count. How many tens do you think there are in 21?
2.
What makes you think that?
By looking at it, it looks like 2 tens over there.
You think you'll have any extras?
No.
Let's try it and see. When I asked Jonathan to relate the numeral to the actual physical materials, the weakness of his knowledge is revealed. He's in the process of constructing his understanding, but he's not there yet.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You have an extra one. It's important to probe during an assessment and not reach a conclusion too quickly about what a child does or does not understand. One response doesn't always give a complete picture. Do you know how many tiles you have here altogether?
24.
How'd you know that so quickly?
10 and 10 is 20, and 4 more is 24.
Do you know how to write the number for 24? Would you write it on this paper? Now suppose I said instead of having 24 tiles out here, I just wanted to have 16. Can you figure out in your head how many you would need to take away? Count out loud so I can hear what you're doing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have to take 8 away.
You have to take 8 away. How'd you figure that out? I agree with you, but
You take 6 away, and then you take the rest away.
so let's put the rest of them back in the tub. So let's push all these tiles down here a little bit. So we've got 16 here. Would you write the number 16 underneath the number 24? And when you write the number 16, you actually wrote two numbers. You wrote a 1 and a 6. Can you show me with the tiles what the 6 means?
6.
So let's put those aside. And now if I said to you, can you show me with the tiles what the 1 means?
1.
So you have, if these mean the 6, let's put those over here. Let's bring the 6 tiles over here. Let's see if I can figure this out. So this is what the 6 means, and show me over on the other side what the 1 is.
Just 1 tile.
Just 1 tile. And altogether we had how many?
16.
16. So if this is the 6 and this is the 1, what confuses me is, what happened to all these tiles? How do we show those in the number?
Well, there's not actually 16.
How many are there?
7. And you need to have these to make 16.
You need to have these all together to make 16. So when you write down the number 16, how do you know you're supposed to write a 1 and then you're supposed to write a 6?
1 is like a 10, and then 6 is just like tens.
Before, when we had the 24, we had how many groups of 10?
2.
And we had 4 extras. Which in the number shows the 1s and which shows the 10s?
The right side.
Right side shows which one? Which was that show, the 1s or the 10s?
The ones.
And this shows the?
10s.
And what about the 16? Which shows the 1s and which shows the 10s?
That.
That shows the?
Ones.
And this is the?
10s.
Let me try one more. Suppose you have 16 tiles here. Suppose I took 5 more and gave them to you. Before I give them to you, do you know how many you'd have altogether, 16 and 5 more?
16. 21.
21. Can you write that number? Write it down here. And Katrina, if we put the 21 into groups of 10 like you did before, do you know how many groups of 10 you'd have?
2.
And do you know how many extras you'd have?
1.
And how do you know that?
Because 10s are 2s. There's 2 10s and 1. There's just 1 tile.
Rudy shows that he understands the place value representation using 10s and 1s. In his case, an individual assessment provides the chance to find out more about his number sense. And then what I'd like you to do is put them into groups of 10. You don't have to stack them up, but you can just put them into groups of 10. I want to see how many groups you get. And count out loud so I can hear what you're doing.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
So how many
2,
groups?
4,
So how many groups of 10 do you have?
2,
And how many extras?
4,
Do you know how many tiles you have altogether?
24.
How'd you know that so fast?
Because 10 and 10 makes 20, and 4 more make 24.
Do you know how to write the number for 24?
Yes.
Would you write that on this paper? Write it kind of big. Suppose I said I didn't want all 24 there, I only wanted 16. How many would you have to take away, do you think? And how'd you figure out that you need to take those away?
Because 16 plus 8 equals 24, and 24 take away 8 equals 16.
And do you know how to write the number for 16? Could you write that under the 24? And if I look at these 16 tiles here and I look at the number you've written, could you tell me with the tiles what the 6 means in this number? Can you show me 6 with the tiles? And if those are the 6 tiles, then what does the 1 tell you?
10,
And why would you show me 10?
because 10 plus 6 is 16.
So it's 16. Let me try something else. Suppose I said you've got 16 tiles, and when you had, to begin with, if you put all those back, we had 24. Suppose I give you 3 more tiles. How many would you have altogether then?
27.
27. Would you write that number underneath the 16? That's great. And now if I said, I don't want you to do what you did up here, but if you put those 27 tiles into groups of 10, do you know how many groups you would have?
2,
And what makes you think you would have 2?
because 27 is just like 24, but you take away 3, and 2 is just like 24 is just like 27.
And if you had 2 groups of 10s, do you know how many extras you would have if there were 27 altogether?
7 more.
Maybe 7 more. What about with the 16? Suppose I took them away and gave you just the 16 tiles back, and you put those into groups of 10. Do you know how many groups you would get?
1,
And how many would there be extra?
6,
And how do you know that?
because 10 plus 6 equals 16.
I decided to push a little further and see what I could learn about how Rudy deals with larger numbers. What makes you think this is about half full?
Wait, that
You
is
think that's about half full now? What makes you think so?
because this is half, this is the other half.
And if I said to you you had to make a prediction, an estimate about how many kidney beans were in the jar when it was half full,
About like 36
how would you find out?
counts
How would you count them?
by 2s.
You want to try it?
2, 4, 6, 8, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 66, 68, 70, 72, 74, 76.
76. Can you write the number for 76? A little bit more than you thought they were going to be. And suppose you didn't count them by 2s. Suppose you count them again and you did it by 10s. Do you know how many 10s you would have after you did it all together?
7,
And how do you know that?
because 76, you need to get 7 10s and 6 1s.
Brandon's understanding of place value is solid. He responded confidently and correctly to my questions. And I noticed that you wrote a 1 and a 6. If I said to you, can you tell me what the tile, show me with the tiles what the 6 means, which tiles would you show me?
These 6.
These 6? And what if I said, what about the 1? What does that mean? What was
These 10, meaning 110.
110? Because Brandon was clear about the meaning of the numbers, I continued with questions that were similar to those I had asked Rudy. If I said to you, make an estimate of about how many beans you think are in the jar that's half full, what would you say?
Probably 44.
How many?
44.
44. How would you check?
Dump them out and count them
And how would you count them? How would you?
in 2s.
You'd count them by 2s? You want to try it and see? Let me do it out loud so I can hear.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18.
Let's stop right there for a moment. This is 20 here. Now I want you to look at the whole pile. You thought there were 44. Do you want to change your estimate? Why do you want to change it?
Looks like it's going to be more than 44.
Why do you think it's going to look like there's more than 44? What are you thinking about?
Because if that's 20 and I have more 20, there's probably going to be a whole bunch more of that.
So make an estimate now, without even counting. Suppose you did something with that. How many would you guess this time? You can look at the beans, but I don't want you to see if you can count them, and then we'll see.
Probably 88.
You're getting 88, big now. So let's count that again. Let's leave these. Well, you go on and keep counting.
20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40.
Let's stop again and take a look. Now, what do you think?
It's going to be 88.
You think this is going to be 88? Well, you continue and let's see if you get there.
42, 44, 46, 48, 40, wait, there's 50.
I'm going to take the 50 away. Let's just count these and leave this 50 here, and then we'll add them up later.
2, 6, 8, 26, 28, 30.
Let's leave these two extra. So we had 50 there, and we have 30 there, and we've got 2 here. Now, how many is that altogether?
82.
And how'd you figure that out?
Because if here's 50 and here's 8, because 5 plus 8 is 5 plus 3 is 8, then 50 plus 3 must be 80, and then 2 more makes it 82.
So could you write that number 82 down? Suppose we put these all together, and instead of dividing them this way, we put them into groups of 10. Do you know how many groups you'd have altogether?
Each group of 10 has 10 in it, so if 80 is made of 8 tens, then it has to be 8.
And so you have 82, and the jar was half full with 82. Suppose I had said, Brandon, fill the whole jar up to the top. If it takes 82 to fill half the jar, what do you think about how many beans there would be if we filled the whole jar?
Probably 100 something.
More than 100? 100 and how much, you think? You think it'd be more than 200? Why not?
Because it probably wouldn't even go past 180.
Suppose you were going to figure out about how many beans really would fill the whole jar, and you didn't want to count them, but you knew 82 beans fill up half the jar. What might you do?
We'd drop them in the jar in tens.
And then count by tens.
I would like to see teachers trusting themselves to have direct interaction with children and really struggle to understand what children are thinking and how they're viewing the mathematical learning. I don't think you see it on test papers. I don't think you see it on workbook pages. I think you can see it if children are expressing their thinking to you so you can understand the processes that they're using.